All right. Well, good evening, guys. This is Richard Duffy, also known as Reverend Rich, guys, and I'm excited again to come back with another wonderful prosperity lesson. And we are teaching and focusing on the metaphysical approach to wealth and prosperity. And today's lesson has to do with a vacuum. In other words, there are probably, I'm going to say probably, guaranteed, probably 99% chance that there is a space somewhere in your mind or in your life or in your living arrangements, wherever, that you can create a vacuum so that good can come into your life. Don't you think so? Well, this lesson, and it's probably going to be a part two, because as I was looking through the book and studying different ideas, I probably won't finish out this whole chapter. But nevertheless, this is one of the chapters you don't want to miss, or if this is one of the videos that you want to watch over and over again. So, what is this idea about a vacuum? I'm reminded of a powerful song by, her name is Michael Beckwith's wife. I think it's Vicky Beckwith, I think. Oh, Ricky, not Vicky, Ricky. Ricky Beckwith. And she has a song that's entitled, I Release and I Let Go. I let spirit run my life. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. My heart. I'm trying to remember. No, I'm trying. On the fly, I'm trying to remember the lyrics. In other words, I release. What do you say, honey? And I'm only here for God. All right, got my wife in the background in the living room helping me out. And I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit because I'm only here for God. The key verse or phrase in that song, the lyrics is I release and I let go, which simply means I create a vacuum so spirit, or let me say this, the good that I desire can come into my experience, can come into my life. Because really, in all honesty, that's what spirit is. Spirit is the form and the unformed. It's first the unformed. Remember, there's a phrase that I share with you. It's been previous videos that I was taught when I was in classes under the Universal Foundation for Better Living. And it says that everything that exists or will exist is pressed out of God or spirit in different forms of manifestation. And since the nature of God is absolute good, there could be no evil in reality. So everything is first unformed, then formed. So I let spirit run my life. And then when I release and let go, I allow the good to come into my life. Now, let me ask you a question. As we go into this chapter 3, the vacuum law of prosperity, the question I want to ask you is this: what do you want? What do you want to manifest in your life? Take a minute and think about it. Is it more finances? Is it a better relationship? Is it health in your body? Do you want a different living arrangement? Maybe you want a new career. Maybe you want to relocate. Maybe you're looking for fellowship, different forms of friends. What is it that you really want? And when you are clear on what you really want in your life, the first thing you have to understand is that the universe is friendly to your desire. God, the universe, says yes to your desire. So that has to be clear without any contradiction in your heart, knowing that your Father, the creator of the universe, has already answered your request before you even ask. Okay, so actually it's already done for you before you even ask, before it became a conscious desire for yourself. So that's solved. You know, I love the book by Jerry and Esther Hicks, which is entitled Ask and It Shall Be Given. And they talk about 3 steps in order for manifestation. The first step is ask, which is another word meaning desire. Okay. Second step is God says yes. Isn't that great? 3 steps. 1 is ask. What is your desire? What do you want? I mean, even The Secret, if many of you have ever watched it, I know it depicts us, rubbing a genie lamp and all of a sudden, poof, things are manifested in our lives like this. I don't believe the movie and its intention was to make us believe that by just rubbing a lamp, all of a sudden things go poof. But I do believe that it wanted to bring to us a new awareness of the absolute good, friendly God and universe who is friendly to my desire. I think it wanted to bring a whole new concept of what we've understood God to be in times past or in previous traditions, concepts, and understanding. So I believe that the Secret did its job. Now, a plethora of men and women has come along after the Secret and has pinpointed some different steps that we take in order for this ancient wisdom to be working in our everyday lives. And they have done a fabulous job in breaking down the different steps. And to be honest, I believe even before the Secret, that Catherine Ponder did an excellent job in this book to let us understand that the power to manifest what we want is within us. And this particular law that we're talking about tonight, the vacuum law of prosperity, that is that law. One of the laws that we're going to look at and investigate, dive into, and really see how we can use this law to bring the things in our life that we want. Isn't that powerful? So, have you decided what you want? Have you made it clear? Many, many successful men and women have taught this idea of writing down your goal, your dream of what you want. It has significant powers that when you write out your goal or when you write out your dream, matter of fact, let me share this with you. The CEO of Empower, David Wood, did a fun. I mean, I can't. The word phenomenal cannot describe of the powerful video that he did on how he changed his life he actually wrote out a script of how he project his life to be. And it's like he wrote out a picture and he put great descripting words about what he wanted in his life and how he wanted to experience and how he wanted to live it, the amount of money he wanted to do and what he wanted to and where he wanted to live. And he described it, I mean, in ways that it's almost like he wrote out his own play. And how can the universe say no to that? Think about it. I mean, it's like a child who you give it a blank sheet of paper and you hand them crayon. And a child starts writing, starts drawing. And then a child out of its own imagination will create pictures. And it no doubt is going to probably have a mommy and a daddy in it. It's probably going to have a brother or a sister, or it's going to have a home and a dog and many different things, but they're creating out of their own imagination, and there is nothing blocking them or stopping them for believing that this cannot occur in their life. Are you hearing what I'm saying here? This is what we have the potential of being, doing, and having. We can know what we want. We can understand that the universal spirit, God, it says yes to it. The third principle that Jerry and Esther Hicks talks about is allow. Now, how do you allow something in where there's a possibility that there is a blockage? This law says you got to create a vacuum. Spirit already done said yes. God has already said yes. The universe has already said yes. So what is the third step? The third step is allow. And in that allowing, I must do something to remove, make room, make space for that good to come in. Isn't that wonderful? All right, so check this out. She starts off to say that you have heard it said that nature abhors a vacuum. In other words, it detests it, hates a vacuum. It is particularly true in the realm of prosperity. So she looks at nature and how it abhors a vacuum, and she said it is also particularly true when it comes to prosperity. And when we speak of prosperity, do you remember her definition of prosperity? Is when you are experiencing good in all areas of your life. Good relationships, good health, money, career. I mean, everything is flowing good into your life. Rich success. That's prosperity. And it comes in the form of many different things, and also does come in the form of money. Okay, now she says the vacuum law of prosperity is one of the most powerful, though it takes bold, daring faith. I wonder why it takes bold, daring faith. And I'm going to share with you why I think it does take bold, daring faith. Watch this. To set it into operation. See, faith is the invisible substance of things which we hope for. We have not seen it yet, but we know it is already here. Did you hear me? Faith is knowing that what I want, I already have, but I don't see it. But I act and I feel as if I already have it. Did you hear me? That's what faith is. I don't need to see it to act happy about it. So when we look at this vacuum law, look what she says here. It takes bold, daring faith to set it into operation, as well as a sense of adventure and expectation to reap its full benefits. When a person is honestly trying to be prosperous, his thinking along prosperous line and still fails. Now, when a person is utilizing the first law that we talk about, and the first law that we talked about in the last 2 Google Hangouts, we talked about the basic law. And the basic law basically is as the thoughts that you hold in your mind, you produce after your kind, right? So that was the first thing that we talked about, the basic law. What you think about, you bring about. And in her book, she talks about prosperous thinking. Can prosperous thinking put shoes on my baby's feet? Can it put food on the table? Can it pay the mortgage? Can it heal my body? Can it do all these wonderful things? And we came to the conclusion that yes, it can. Prosperous thinking can create and produce the things you want in your life. Now, what if you are affirming and you're doing all the things that you know to do, and it don't seem like that which you want has manifested yet? This is where faith becomes bold. This is where we have to be careful, not trying to make it come in, but create a vacuum. Right? We're not trying to force the universe to do something that's already done. In the mind of God, it's already done. So what do I need to do to allow my good to come into my experience? All right, let's look at this. So she says, it's usually because he needs to invoke the vacuum law of prosperity. Now to invoke the vacuum law of prosperity, you basically do this. If you want greater prosperity in your life, start forming a vacuum to receive it. In other words, get rid of what you don't want to make room for what you do want. Whoa, what? Now, get rid of what you don't want. Well, I'm going to share this part, and then I'm going to share some other ideas too. You remember in the first 2 Google Hangouts, I talked about my desire to be rich. And I have a figure in my mind. Now, when we talk about being rich, everybody has a figure, a financial figure in their mind of what their net worth wants to be. Okay, so I have a figure in my mind of what I want my net worth to be. And in my mind, to me, that would constitute wealth and riches for myself. Okay, so the universe and I, we're working on this. And you have to decide, so what is rich to you? Now remember this, even with the figure that I pick, it's still finite. I only can pick it because that's what my conscious mind at this particular time understands. But trust me when I tell you this, there is unlimited amount of wealth and good that you can grasp and hold and obtain. But you obtain it according to consciousness, that which you are aware of, that which you are awake to. So that's why, the thing that to me, that's what's most powerful is that once you are aware of this, then you can be aware of something greater. Isn't that awesome? So watch this. She says that first you must get rid of what you don't want to make room for what you do want. So doesn't it seem to me that you must get rid of old beliefs, old concepts, thoughts, old ideas to make room for new ones. So then you have to say, you know what? I no longer believe that money is the root of all evil. Because the scripture says the love of money, which means the person who worships money. Money has never, ever been evil. The worshiper of money, they do evil things. Money is not evil. I'm going to say that again. The worshiper of money, they do evil things. Money is neutral. Okay? So maybe that is one idea or one thought you need to get out of your mind so you can make room for new ideas and new thoughts. Makes more space in your mind, those prosperous thoughts, so they can fill the spaces of your mind. And when I'm speaking of your mind, I'm talking about your conscious, your subconscious, and your superconscious mind, the three areas of your mind. So they can fill those spaces so that your good can be manifested. Okay, so you have to have new ideas embedded into your subconscious. So deep in your subconscious, you may believe that, I don't think money grows on trees. Why do you think money don't grow on trees? I think money is everywhere because money is energy. In John Randolph Price's book, he says money, the acronym for money is my only natural energy yield. That means the energy that I am sending forth comes back to me in a form of that good. So I can create my own economy. Maybe that concept has to get out. Maybe you have a belief that, you're mad because if you make more money, then you got to pay more taxes. And you get frustrated about that concept. Well, it's very difficult to be rich and prosperous if you are afraid that you got to pay more taxes. If you have negative ideas about wealth and people that are wealthy, you got to create a vacuum. You got to get rid of those old concepts, those old beliefs, so that new ideas can come and fill those spaces. If you believe that people who are rich, they when they obtain their money, they do it probably illegal and crooked. Boom, you got to create a vacuum. You hear me? You got to create that vacuum so that the good comes into your life. Does that make sense? Okay, look at this. So get rid of what you don't want. Well, if you don't want lack in your life, then you have to get rid of the idea and the understanding and the concepts that you've been taught in reference to lack. And you got to bring in new thoughts, new ideas about abundance. Okay? Now, what about in other areas? These are other ways. Now, the reason why she said in the above chapter where she says you got to take bold, daring faith, because most of the time when something hasn't manifest in our lives, we don't seek divine intelligence first. We just figured that, God doesn't want me to have it. So, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever. I'm just going to have to do whatever I need to do. And, because I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and nothing's happened. Okay, I'm going to do my thing. And the reason why it takes bold faith is because you haven't seen it yet. You have to do something that doesn't seem like that's what's going to bring your good in. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that my old beliefs about money could be blocking my prosperity now? Yep. Watch this. What about If there are clothes in the closet or furniture in your home or office that no longer seem right for you, and there are people among your acquaintances and friends that no longer seem congealed with you, what if you got to create a vacuum and you got to remove some things from your home? He said, but Richard, that don't make sense. I want to create prosperity in my life and I want to create all this good. And you telling me moving furniture is going to call prosperity? That's why she said it takes bold, daring faith. I'll take the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Because it sounds foolish to do things on the outside, move this, move that. What about this? What about removing some friends? Some friends that don't have your dream. They don't have your vision about the good that you desire. Sometimes you have to remove friends. Sometimes you have to find new company. You know, this is what I chose to do in my personal life. That which I want to achieve, I'm looking for people and I'm attracting people that's already accomplished that. And I choose to model them. In other words, if some of my friends don't want to follow me in that path, I'm sorry. I love you though. I appreciate you. And I honor and respect the God spirit in you. But I must create this vacuum so my good can come in. I don't have time to play games. I am serious about the manifestation of what I want in my life. And sometimes you have to choose your friends and choose them wisely. Sometimes you have to look at your closet and says, my goodness, this suit's been in my closet for a whole year. I've never wore it. Get rid of that suit or get rid of this and get rid of that so more good can come into your life. It's no need of hoarding things, holding on to it. Let it go. So the greater good you can experience. You can experience greater things. And again, I hear my mind reminding me to tell you this. Spirit's telling me to tell you this. It takes boldness to not doubt, not to be afraid, and take what seems to be foolish steps, but at the same time, it's wise steps. Because everything, well, listen, guys, if you understand this concept, everything begins in mind. So you're first creating a vacuum in spirit first. Even if you are removing furniture from your home, it's something going on in the invisible realm, in that invisible substance. Faith is the substance. So when you remove that furniture, you're shaping substance. And you can't understand it. You can't see it, but you just have faith. You have faith that whatever you ask, you receive. Right? You just have faith that the nature of God is absolute good, and then God has already said yes to your desire. So get rid of the furniture. Remove that friend. Right? Create a vacuum. Get rid of the old. Get rid of what you don't want. So you can create a vacuum for the things you do want. Does that make sense? All right, that's awesome. She goes on to say that if there are clothes in your closet or furniture in your home or office that you no longer seem right for you, if there are people among your acquaintances and friends that no longer seem congealed, begin moving the tangible and intangibles out of your life in faith, in the faith that you can have what you really want and desire. Begin to remove the tangible and the intangibles, but do it in faith. Do it in trust, knowing that when this is being done, I'm sensing my desire becoming manifest in your life. In closing, she says here, often it's difficult to know what you do want until you get rid of what you don't want. Sometimes, once you remove once you remove the things, you begin to realize, well, you know what? This is what I really wanted. Wow. Once you remove old concepts, old beliefs, and old thoughts, you said, this is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted wealth and prosperity and happiness and peace, love and money. Oh man, this is awesome, right? You'll recognize this is what you've always wanted. Now, you would also find that there is something very important, and I'm not going to be able to go into this particular idea long, but you're going to find one important principle that's going to help you to utilize the vacuum law of prosperity, and that is forgiveness, which is probably the key to experiencing unlimited good in your life. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others. You know, this forgiveness is another way of creating a vacuum. Sometimes we have to sit quietly and ask divine intelligence, what is blocking my good? Because I already know that when I ask, I receive. I already know by divine right that you said yes to my good. So, Father, creator of the all universe, loving, rich Father, what is it that's blocking my desire? And sit quietly, be still, and hear what your Father has to say. And whatever guidance or directions that your divine intelligence tell you to do it in faith. Because when you do it, you're creating a vacuum. You're creating a space so your manifestation can come into your life. Wow, isn't that good? Isn't that powerful? All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Tomorrow night, I'm going to touch on how forgiveness plays a major role in attracting the good that we want in our lives. Okay, so I want to go into it right now. So we're gonna go into that tomorrow night. Okay, woo, guys, this is good. Oh, this is really, really, really good. So create that vacuum, guys. Listen, my wish for you that you live healthy, happy, prosperous, wealthy, and experience all the money that you can imagine. That's my wish for you. And I want to thank you again for watching this video each time. Do me a favor. At the end of each video, please share your comments. Go to my blog, www.youtoocanberich.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be posting many videos, Google Hangouts, and other good prosperity success tips and how to live a healthy, happy, prosperous, successful, and money manifestation life. All right? I think that's exciting. Life was intended to be good because God is good. All right, this is Richard Duffy, also known as Reverend Rich. Guys, I love you. Peace and blessings.